welcome back again. My name is Jay, coming to you live from Edmonton Comics here in West Edmonton Mall in beautiful Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I have a special guest with me today, Mr. Wayne Lee, entertainer extraordinaire and massive comic nerd, as it turns out. Who knew, right?
Yeah, no, love them.
You ever work any comic material into your acts?
You know, that's a good question. Years ago, I think I played with that a little bit more and superhero stuff there. And then when I got into the corporate environment, I think I just used what works, and I didn't do that. But I do have a dog named Shazam.
Oh,
yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we are talking about grading comics. We kind of reviewed a little bit here and there, looked at some of Wayne's great books. Kind of going into the whole collecting angle, what people look for, what you were looking for. You were buying a lot of books. It just made you feel great. There's a lot of nostalgic factors into the purchases that you made. But I have noticed one key thing throughout your collection, a lot of first appearances. You're kind of big on the first appearances of things, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I think that those are key issues. And I think like there was something in the back of my mind going investment, and it was just really cool to have them.
Yeah.
Like say for instance, I remember my dad took me to a comic store. We ended up getting Silver Surfer. And I ended up getting the whole collection. By no means was that collection all grade A, like perfect books, but it was really cool to get that. But then I came across like Fantastic Four 48, and that was a key one. And so those always were things that pulled me, I think, like were the first appearances or #1 books.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and we're going to take a look at a couple because we want to showcase Wayne's collection here a little bit more because it's really beautiful. Just some beautiful looking books. Let's take a look at the first one on the top of the stack here. We got the first appearance of a famous Spider-Man villain who was in a nearly infamous Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3. So we have the Sandman. Yeah, it's fantastic. When we look at this book, again, like a lot of Wayne's other books, we've got really, really flat books. They're pressed well, not a lot of like rolls or curves to them. Nice tight spines, great color, excellent presentation. These are fantastic showpiece books. And yeah, sure, there's going to be little, as you've come to learn and become saddened by, there are little nicks and imperfections in there that you may not always pick up on right away. But overall, you know, these books are showing really, really well. They look great. You've made some amazing investments. Of course, with Amazing Spider-Man, you're not going to go wrong with anything because Spider-Man is such a popular cultural icon. You're never going to lose on your value. It's never going to depreciate. It's always going to go up and up, even if the villain was in kind of a sucky movie.
Right.
But Spider-Man is always going to hold its value. Don't worry about it. Trust me on that one. Take that one to the bank. What else we got here?
So this is the book that I was talking about, Fantastic Four.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this one would kind of deceive a lot of people because, you know, the first appearance of a character isn't necessarily someone that always just appears on the cover. It's, you know, there's an appearance of someone on the cover, but the key appearance in 48 isn't necessarily the Beyonder. It's the Silver Surfer.
Yes.
That's what's driving the book. It's also the first appearance of Galactus as well.
Yeah.
Galactus, the world devourer, as it were, but Silver Surfer, his herald who founds it, that's the character that really kind of took off, captured people's imaginations, yours, obviously, and along with so many other people. And this book has a great amount of value. Again, another fantastic showpiece collection. Lots of good, strong color, good clarity, good gloss and shine. The corners are pretty nice. Like it's a really, really high-grade book. You know, not a near mint.
Yep.
We're gonna know that because we know that we've managed to start picking out those little things. But still, very high grade, good, solid investment. And Fantastic Four is always, again, this first appearance of Silver Surfer has always held its value and always gone up. Again, no matter how terrible the movie was that the character happened to appear in.
Right.
But come on, Disney, let's make this right. Let's give the Surfer and the Fantastic Four their due.
Take your clues, right? Take
Yes.
your clues. Question about that book, though, too,
for
Jay,
sure.
because this is a fault of my own.
Okay.
Is that a number of years ago when I had that book, I was taking it out, and sure enough, and I'm sure it's happened to other people too, tape.
Tape.
Yeah. So there's a tape nick on there. If you know, look at it, it's right there.
Yep.
And I'm like this, face palm. So I'm wondering how much like something like that would take it down.
That does, and once upon a time, like the actual, like if it takes it down a full grade or not, again, a little bit subjective to the individual tastes on there, and overall, it's going to be the amount. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized nick in a nice kind of darkened area, but I think because again, you want to look at the overall effect of it. So yes, the cover is damaged. but the vast overwhelming majority of the cover is really good, really solid. So, you know, there's probably going to be a little bit of forgiveness there.
Right.
It is going to knock it down probably at least a half grade, I would figure, but, you know, depending on the person who wants that book, they may be able to overlook that pretty easily. Right.
And if the grader is under the influence of my hypnotic suggestion and I say, you will forget that, then I might get away with it.
I already have.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. All right, what else do we have here?
This is a cool issue. I've always loved Conan.
Yes.
And so this is Conan #1.
Yeah, absolutely. Conan the Barbarian.
Came out, I think, 70, somewhere, 1970, I think was
yeah, we're going to be right around that time. And again, another absolutely fantastic book. Like, the books you have, like, you really took time to kind of get things that were just good quality buys. Like, there's no kind of dogs here. Great color, nice, flat, smooth, good alignments. Like, everything about this is fantastic. And was Conan just something that, again, was that another one that kind of clicked with you? Because I know you've got a few issues that are in your collection right now.
It was, and I think it was also because the Conans, like in terms of the issues that I got, were pristine. So I was like, I'm getting this, I'm getting the whole thing. But yeah, just the character, and growing up, like, it was like, that was like the epitome of, masculine, and, there was an attraction factor of what he stood for. So,
absolutely. The power, the strength, the intensity, for sure. Yeah. Now, not only do first appearances of characters tend to generate a lot of interest in books, the deaths of characters generate the interest in books as well.
Got one coming up, right?
Our next one coming up here, I think, suits that quite nicely. Here we have an Amazing Spider-Man 121. And again, we've got another one of these books that color is super, super key, because yellow fades easily, gets dirty easily, but this yellow, amazing, absolutely beautiful. This cover is super bright and vibrant. Key death in this book, should we spoil it? I don't know, it's been about 45 years or so.
Oh, go ahead.
So it's Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy is the person who unfortunately does not survive at the end of this issue. Huge, huge turning point for the character of Spider-Man. Huge value to this book, and condition like this, absolutely fantastic. Was this one that you kind of read when you were younger and then had to go back and find, or was this
it was just, I loved Spider-Man, and just, again, coming across these key issues like this, I was really into it because of that.
A great opportunity. As a solid
and I got
buy.
a couple of them, but the other one is
gonna make some people jealous.
Yeah. For sure. But it's also very apparent in terms of like what you're saying, is that with the other copy, it doesn't stand up to what this copy is. So
this is your best one?
It is.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Absolutely beautiful. It's a great, great showpiece for sure. Good investment. Yeah. All right. So we got a few others. I'm going to just kind of shuffle because we got a couple other books that we want to pop up. Some more first appearances, but they all are part of one big happy family, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, again, but this one goes through the Batman collection.
Yeah. Using that amazing and common cover color, pink. Lots of pink done on lots of comic book covers. But you know what? It's fantastic. It works good. And it's so pink. It's really pink.
Right.
But it's absolutely beautiful. Looks great. First appearance of the Riddler. For those fans who can maybe not see him through all of his blurriness on there. But yeah, certainly and a key, long-standing Batman villain, TV and film, and just somebody that's hung on and has become quite the character, a little bit more sinister, a little bit more darker, and I believe that in the new Batman film coming up, Robert Pattinson's film will be a major player as well. So this book is probably going to see, again, another spike once that movie comes out. So good, solid investment.
Yeah, and I was into all the Batman before it blew up, and I still remember, again, go back to my dad taking me to the comic store, opening up those Batman and just the simple Batman at the time, and that's what I gravitate towards. That's what I know Batman as. Not that like he's morphed into such a complex, wonderful character, but just seeing this, it just brings back memories. So it's
that's
pretty cool.
The beauty of it. Who else we got there?
Yeah. Poison Ivy.
Ms. Ivy, Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy, Emerald Crusader, as it were. Not in the same kind of league as your other books. A little bit more. We've got our white areas a little bit more dirty. Our red areas a little bit more orangey, a little bit more faded. I'm assuming, probably like everything else, you've got multiple copies of this at home.
I don't.
Oh, the hunt is still on then, isn't it, Wayne?
And that's a reflection of like, it's such a key copy. you know, getting that copy was great, but it sure would be nice to have one.
Right. You
know.
saw the opportunity to kind of fill the hole there, and you saw the copy, and it's still a good copy physically. There's not a lot. There's no damage to it. You know, there's no chips on it. Nothing's missing. It still looks pretty good. It still presents pretty well. You can tell it's been enjoyed, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what comics are for. People are supposed to enjoy them for sure.
But it's faded.
A little bit more, yeah. And then, of course, we have our first appearance of Mr. Freeze. So, yeah, you've got a pretty nice little awesome Batman collection going on, too. There any aspirations to kind of round out a few more? Maybe get a couple more Batmans?
I've got a whole bunch we haven't seen.
Oh, man, oh, man. We'll have to make this, we'll have to do a whole nother episode.
Oh,
just
my goodness.
Walk his books through us.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Now, another character, this book is not, it is a first appearance, but it's not a first appearance, right? Because the character of the Sandman did exist previously, but this is a new incarnation of the Sandman done by one of your all-time favorite artists, Jack Kirby, who we've mentioned a few times before. What is it that drew you to this book?
A couple things. One, just from a collecting standpoint, like just the condition of that copy. It's just amazing. I just look at it and I'm like, oh, I don't want to touch it. Let's just put it away. And then also, just again, a big Jack Kirby fan. Yeah. So when I see the artworks, it does something to me. It's just like I
just clicks, eh?
And the fact that it's #1.
Yep. No, absolutely. And those are great things for people to look out for. Of course, you're looking for condition. You're looking for a key issue, a new hero, a death. #1 or whatever, but I mean, you also want it to connect with you as well. If these books don't connect with you, you know, then you're looking at it realistically more as an investment opportunity, you know, which isn't a bad thing. But you know, if you are actually connecting with these books, probably going to take a little bit more time to get better copies, things that'll fit the rest of your collection nicely. It would round out for a very, very nice collection, something that I don't know if you intend to pass these on to your kids. I've never met your kids, but I'm sure they don't deserve this.
Yeah.
Because they're kids, and what kids do. This is a fantastic collection. Now, the last step that we're going to talk about, though, is that Wayne's got all his books kind of preserved pretty well, but there is something that a lot of people ask about, and it's called getting them professionally graded. So if you don't want to come into the store and see what some long-haired hippie behind a desk has to say about your book, it's like, yeah, that's an 8, right? No, but you want somebody who actually knows what they're doing, right? So there are services out there where you can get your books professionally graded by a third party. It's called slabbing. And a couple different companies exist. One of the biggest ones out there is called CGC, the Comics Guarantee Company. And, oh, I hope I got that right. You know what? I knew I was going to say something that I'm now not 100% sure if it's right, and I'm going to get railed over the coals for it. I'm just going to stick with CGC for now. CGC's been around close to 20 years. And what happens is that you take a comic, like Wayne has here, something that's just kind of in a bag and board that he's done itself, he sends it off to the CGC company, and they will have a team of people assess the book. So the assessment is done based on the value and the age of the book. So there's a couple of different factors that goes in there. The more expensive the book is, the more people will kind of assess it, and they compile all the notes, all the grading notes from people, and they give it a grade. The more modern a book is, the fewer people that look at it. And the older the book is, the more people will look at it, and also the more experienced people will look at it as well. So we've got a couple of examples here of books. This book, this All-Star Comics book, is mine. I had it done back in about 2002 or 2003 when CGC had first started out. As you can see, it's kind of a little bit more, the labeling is a bit more rudimentary, but the principles of everything was still the same. They reviewed, they assessed it. And when they assess it, they review, as we mentioned, every single page. So it's a very painstaking process. But at the end, you know, this book was graded at a 2.5 on the scale of 10. When you look at it from the cover, right, you can see it's like, hey, that doesn't really look like a 2.5. There must be other things wrong with it, probably. But when the book is slabbed, it's sealed. This book is airtight, watertight. The casing has a UV protection on it as well. So if you leave it out in the sun, in the middle of a hurricane, nothing's going to happen to this book. It's going to stay the way it is. However, you also can't open the book again, because as soon as you crack that seal and open the book, that grade is no longer certified. right? Because once it's opened, anything can happen to it. As long as it stays sealed, that 2.5 is a 2.5. I've got a more recent graded book here from the same company, CGC. You can see the labeling's a little different. The packaging, it's a little bit slimmer. This book is a bit thicker, but the packaging is kind of a bit older. The plastic isn't quite as clear and shiny, so it doesn't present quite as well as modern CGC slabs will. So you can see as the company's gone along, they've upgraded their technology and their practices to kind of give people the best return for their money. Pricing for books, again, it's all based on the age of the book and the value of the book, so the pricing fluctuates accordingly. The more expensive your book is, the more it's going to cost you to get graded. So that's a lot to take in, isn't it? That's a whole lot of stuff to do. We didn't quite hit every note, and there's always more to talk about. There's certainly more to be seen. I'd love to have you back and look at more of your collection, more of my collection. Freudian slip.
Was that a hypnotic suggestion?
I don't know. It might have been. I might have been trying to take a page out of your book. Hard to say. But thank you so much for coming in.
Hey,
it was awesome to look at all these books. We hopefully will be fielding some questions down in the comment field later on. Maybe you've got a collection that you'd like us to showcase on one of our episodes. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. So again, you can find us at West Edmonton Coin and Stamp. This is Edmonton Comics here located in West Edmonton Mall. And thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you soon.